It's time.
All right. Now let's make sure we push.
Guys, we color coordinated pretty well today.
Yeah. We did it on purpose. It's fine.
I mean, I only have so many colors in my closet. I think they all usually coordinate.
That's fair. All right. Let me get to... we're going to start with... we're going to get golf out of the way, and then we're going to get into them. Okay. We're going to end with a glizzy. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
All right. So here is the tweet that came from, God knows, one reporter out there about the meeting with Tiger, Rory, and the 1,000 others. So here's the quick summary. Players discussed a potential for an 18-event tour within the tour, where 60 top players would compete for 2 WGC-style events per month with $20 million purses. The remainder of the tour season would be filled in with events for lower mid-tiered players who could get upfront money. $500,000 figure was suggested that would go against tournament winnings. Very live-like. Tour could relinquish its nonprofit status, which would open up the possibility of private investment from billionaire figures such as J.P. McManus, where players like Tiger and Rory would have equity stakes. I'm assuming there's a couple other players that would have the opportunity too. Tiger and Rory being the main driver of all of this. Pro PGA Tours also discussed the possibility of talking to LIV at some point. And apparently there are 7 players are set to be announced to joining LIV after the playoffs conclude. All of them participate in the first playoff event. Now, I think that's down to 6 now, is what I've seen since this, and it's only been, this is out 4 or 5 days ago.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about.
And so that's interesting. What are you guys' thoughts from this meeting with this new 18-event tour within a tour type play? Because this is on top of what the PGA already announced they're doing.
That's what I was going to ask. The top 50 or whatever players at the end of the year on like a mini tour type deal with $20 million purses each event. My thought process of that is, with the tour already doing that,
well, I believe it's on top. It might be included.
Right. Like,
I mean,
are
it's
those
going to have to be
those events have to be
some
included?
combination of
Those events for me have to either be included almost, or they have to be higher purses.
Which ones?
The ones that were already like announced they have to either be higher purses to make them a more prestigious event that the PGA Tour already came out with, or they just get added to this 18 event and they're like, oh, hey, you know what? This is a better solution.
I mean, I like this because ultimately the players want to play against the top of the top. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is designed to do. Mm-hmm. And for us as fans to have 2 of these a month,
right,
on top of regular play, plus majors, I mean, really what you're going to have is you're having a split of the tour. You're having the top tier tour. You're having AAA and AA type ball being played, which is completely okay because we have to have better development. But I mean, I really think it's a really cool change that fits well within the realms of the tradition, the legacy, but also inclusion of, hey, it's modern time now. Mm-hmm.
So based off of this, this includes the playoffs, 48 PGA Tour events throughout the year. Mm-hmm. 18 of those would be this. The other 30 would be the low to mid tier people that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, my initial reaction is a little bit of disappointment, more so just from like, it's too much in my opinion. Like 18 events of the top 60 players. Like, I don't need to see 18 events of the top 60 players.
I think it'll get changed.
I need to see
1 a month,
4, 8. Like, are they match play events? Then sure, I can see a couple more. like, are we changing formats? I just don't need 18 more events where it's just because like that's what I don't like about Live is that it's 48 players.
Right.
It's like, all right, like I don't need to see the same guys win and compete over because you've shrunk the field. Like the whole point of the PGA now, to me, from like a competitive advantage standpoint, is that there's 140 to 150 players are going out, and like that's why it's so hard to win on the PGA Tour. Like that's what sets you apart from Live. And now, to me, like you're coming towards Live, which you definitely have to from a money perspective, but I don't know if there's a better way to do it or not. I get why you have the top 60 players because that's where you're going to get the most money, and that's how you can pay out the most money, and the sponsors are going to be there because the best guys in the world are there, and people are going to watch. But that's what I dislike about it, because I like the tradition of the big tournament field and having to grind your way through it to get to there, and this is just, to me, too much. But
my other thought process on this would be, so if it's a 60 top players at the time of that event, whatever it might be, and if it's already 18 event, thing there, these guys are still having to play as many events because they have to still keep themselves inside the top 60.
Correct.
So realistically what it is it's just, it's these 18 events, but it's probably pretty close to similar events that we've seen.
And also, let's not pretend like
there are going to be no cut events, I'm sure.
This hasn't been in the works for a while. And like, you can't tell me Tiger didn't know something like this was going to happen before he turned down $1 billion. And
he just went, oh, look at this, guys. We just met twice, and here it is. No, I mean, there's reports saying that they've talked about this for a couple years
Like,
now.
if I'm going to have a stake in the PGA, then I can say no to $1 billion.
Yes.
Like, that's.
I think the biggest thing for me is the nonprofit status.
Yeah.
Relinquish that so then you can open it up for private investments. I think that's a huge thing, because that's a complete change for the PGA Tour.
That just opens up the flexibility of down the road. And I think them not saying exactly what the style of events are also opens it up to the fact of maybe there's more match play. Maybe we can get some more team events.
Yep.
Because those are highlighted and everyone loves them. Like those are people tune into those.
Right.
So if you can get more of those because of this, I mean,
so
that's awesome.
And that's what I would want to see in those top 60 events. If you're going to do 18 of them, I need at least half of them to be a unique format.
Yeah.
And because at that point, like to Ryan's point, you're playing your other 30 events in order to get yourself into the top 60. So like at least at that point, you're playing to like play in a fun format, whether it be a scramble or whether it be a whatever type of format you want to call it, anything like Liv does or anything new.
Scramble would be really cool.
Right.
That could just
straight up scramble. Like, like we can relate to that, but like how good would these guys be?
How low would they actually go?
How low can you go at, the toughest course in the world from the tips with a 4-man? Like,
that would be
when there is literally no thought in your mind of how careful you need to be, because I've got 3 other dudes that are the best in the world playing on my best ball.
Really,
team.
the 4th guy is the only one who's like, fine,
awesome.
I'll tone it down. But I'm going to the fairway.
Thanks, guys. You got to hit 3 wood. I had to hit 4-iron.
Yeah, right. Thanks.
Yes,
Next time, no. Right? Yeah, that would be cool.
But you're always pulling driver. You're always pulling 3 wood. Like you're just going for it.
Now, that tournament and the Live, I think, should do the same thing.
Right.
You do that, the world of us amateurs would love the hell out of it.
And like, I don't need more than 1 or 2 a year.
No,
but like
not.
just to see that once. It's like when Fowler and all of them go on vacation together, like JT. It's like we see them, having fun on their carts and
teeing off on beer cans. And
no shoes. Like just to put, like, I don't think it would get that lax, but just to have 4 dudes on a team basically doing kind of what we're doing right now with the Pro-Am events. Yeah. But on a level of, hey, let's put a squad out there. Let's do a playground pick 'em with this top 60.
Yeah.
What? I mean, how many teams is that? That's 15 teams.
Yeah.
So top 15 guys are captains, and we're playground pick 'em, and we're having that. That's a live
televised.
event.
Oh, absolutely.
In itself.
Yeah.
And here we go. Here we go.
See, here you go, PJ.
Because at that point, like, whether I get the 60th best guy in the world or the 15th, like on a best ball team, just doesn't matter. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like,
but speaking of relating to amateurs and different stuff like that, one of the most watched golf events this year, and these past couple of years, has been The Match, where we've seen some of these amateur-esque golfers. Now, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, those guys that are playing all the time, like, are they amateur-esque? Maybe not, but
yeah, but they're still handicapped golfers.
Exactly. We see amateur strokes from them, and that's some of the biggest and most watched events of the year.
100%.
What's up, buddy? Is Mom here? Okay. Have a good practice.
Bye.
But like that being one of the most watched events of the year, just goes to show these scramble events, these different stuff like that. Like,
God, could you imagine?
And you can't tell me that, like, I'm in skins events.
Yeah.
You know, like all of these things that are usually now they're done for charity. And not to say that they can't be, but like throw them into these $20 million purse events and put 4 of the best dudes on the world out there that get a look at a 25-foot putt. And now I'm drafting the putter, I'm drafting the long hitter, I'm drafting the iron player. Like these teams being put together. And sure, you're probably going to draft some of your buddies. But at the same point, like, you're also going to see some personalities that probably maybe don't want to be playing together.
Yeah.
But like are competing for.
And that would allow you the flexibility of, okay, maybe one of those tournaments, it's a fan vote to pick teams. Right? Like you could go so far with that. And I believe truly that's like part of what Tiger and Rory, because we aren't even talking about what else they're leading to, which we don't have much details on, about their tech expos during the middle of the week, which is, who knows, that'll be pretty cool. But I think that's what they're trying to do. Get more fans involved, get back to doing some, I don't want to say futuresque things. These guys, they do this outside of these tournaments. Like this is what they do. They go hang out with their boys and they play for, $100,000 putts or whatever. Right. We don't. We play for our new thing of $5 putts.
When you started talking about drafting these players, did your mind instantly start to try and draft a team? Like,
right. Like,
were you instantly thinking about
try to, like, it's like fantasy I mean, it's the fantasy golf, fantasy football, like esque of like, who's my best 4?
Like, okay, just think of this. I'd have to think of like a mid or like a longer or maybe just a hybrid player. Cam Young off your tee, Cam Smith putting, who was lights out for a lot of the year putting, and then you have like a Will Zalatoris for his approach shots, and then maybe a Spieth for somewhere around the green, scrambling. Like that team.
But I mean, anybody inside the top 60, I'm going to list 4. Like,
I don't care.
And because the top 15 would have to be captains, like
it takes a lot.
Your best players still have to play with. So it's not going to be, because to me that's what went wrong with Liv, is that Liv started letting these guys.
I want all South African.
So like their best 4 guys are on one team basically on Liv right now, and it's just like, first of all, that like they're going to win everything or going to be competing, but also like you don't get to see any interaction between. So like when Rory has to draft the 48th ranked player, which I mean, it might be Russell Henley, or like whoever it is. But funny, Russell Henley's still really damn good at golf.
But like, funny when what Tiger gets in the top 60,
and that's where you get the Ryan Palmers.
And then you're like, oh wait, like Tiger doesn't have to really swing driver at all, and he can just be irons. I get the best iron player ever, and someone was saying this, like, of course Tiger would do this. He's getting equity, and he can prolong his career. Yeah, duh.
Right.
And also, this is a legacy thing that he's always talked about.
Right.
He is probably saving the PGA, but also changing it, and this is his legacy. And probably developing it for Charlie, I would assume down the realm too.
Right. And
now that's a long ways, but not even that long anymore. But you know what I mean? Like this is all building.
This goes into the personality change that I think we've seen since Tiger's injury.
Yeah.
Of like realizing that as serious as he has been with golf and as tough at times he's been with and on the media, that like we've seen that full switch to fully open Tiger, and like realizing that 100% to your point, that like this is my chance to re-cement my legacy within the tour, which might be still a little tarnished overall. I mean, there's still the asterisks,
correct,
or the black eye, whatever. Not really an asterisk.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing from that perspective, but I mean, he definitely had a tough go at it for some years, but like
absolutely.
people still flock to Tiger Woods, and doing this is only going to. I mean,
it changes the trajectory of where golf is going right now.
to me, like, it takes me back to what I think Kobe Bryant would have done for women's and WNBA and NBA had he not died in the helicopter crash.
Yeah.
Is that like, I think we were going to, like, as much as people loved to hate Kobe, Kobe was a great ambassador and was only going to do great things in all facets afterwards. And so, like, this is like, if Tiger gets a chance to fully do that, I think it's going to be absolutely amazing.
You're taking the goats of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the difference of why I've never really been an MJ fan overall. Great player, obviously, but like Kobe, you know, RIP to him, and he just had a birthday. Would have transcended this game to basketball to a degree we don't know, because he would have took that Mamba mentality to development of the game, like he did for himself.
Right.
And I think Tiger's realizing I now have to do that
for PGA.
for the PGA,
And I can.
and I can, and I physically can. And oh, by the way, I'm still playing,
Right.
And I can still grind it out. I can still win a couple majors over the next 5-10 years. Like that's where.
But do you think because of physical limitations that he's realizing he may not overcome, that he's taking that focus that he would put on that part of his game? Not that he's going to stop practicing hard or anything like that, but that he can kind of channel some of that frustration of inability into this portion of his life, right?
100%.
I mean, that's what
He
it's
can't practice his 12-hour days,
right.
So he'll practice 4, and 8's going to be on this,
Right.
And that's going to help,
Just a transfer of focus.
which will probably help his game actually. But
Right.
but all right, so we're done with golf. Let's get on to these other news.
Well, like, exciting golf news is exciting all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. How about this one? Huh? Alabama head coach Nick Saban is receiving an 8-year contract worth $94 million.
I don't think he wasn't getting enough in commercial, outside income coming in. He needed more from Alabama.
It's a lot of money for a college coach.
100%.
But
So, blast from the past. I happened to be watching last night. I flipped on the TV and Blindside was on.
oh, okay.
In that movie, every prominent SEC coach
Was in it.
of the time had multiple screen time moments. And like, I don't think watching it back when I couldn't tell you the last time I saw it.
Realizing that?
Because Saban's at LSU at that point, winning national championships. Like Houston Nutt, Lou Holtz is at South Carolina, Tommy Tuberville's
That
at
was awesome.
Clemson.
Yeah.
And like those guys are all have multiple lines in which they walk in, talk to Michael Orr and Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
And I'm just like I'm watching that, like nil immediately went through my head when I saw it. Well, first of all, because they get accused of
Right.
Having Michael Orr as a live-in because they were trying to get him to go to Ole Miss, but more so from like a coaching perspective of like, how much do those coaches make for being in Blindside?
And the royalties they still get
Right?
to this
Like,
day. Yeah.
So like, it was just one of those things. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
And then I saw this come up and I'm like, perfect.
But big news. I mean, it's big news. It's big because the number's big, obviously deserving, but it's really the only college football news that we really had that's pressing, aside from the fact that it's week 0.
I mean, the people of the state of Alabama are more than willing to
Give
pay
their unborn children.
pay that money.
All right. So we'll skip this one, but we'll go to this one.
Oh, I'm so glad they.
Oh yeah, this one. It's
I'm
actually
so
our
glad that
thumbnail.
This came up.
All right.
I was infuriated about the fury.
So let's first, Acho. This is ridiculous, dangerous, and cowardly. Straight cowardly. Prayers up. I want you to watch this, everybody. We're gonna probably play it a couple of times. Slow it down.
Do we need to give background to this to like what's going on, or do you think people understand?
Oh, we will.
Okay.
I just want to. I
You
just want to
just
run it again.
give a
Like,
shit.
look. Okay. Yep. Hits him in the knee. Goes low. Split zone, normal play. Okay. So now we can get into it.
You got it. Because you've been blocked like this before.
Oh, a lot of times.
Right.
I've also blocked like that before.
Correct. You've been on both sides.
Yes. So in this realm, we've got essentially a split zone. You're going to have someone coming back across that they've got to cut down the backside end.
Meaning what?
What, come down?
Cutting
Yeah,
down.
absolutely.
Like what's the action that
Taking
you're
his legs out?
Yes, you're aiming for what? What's your aiming point?
Probably thighs.
Okay.
Thighs, hip to thighs.
Right. And you're not going helmet first.
I'm not going helmet first.
Going
Hip to
shoulder
thighs, going
first, but you're taught to roll.
and then I'm going to roll.
Roll through.
Right.
Yep.
So if we take this through, he sees him coming, right? This is the part right here where, as a defender, I know he made a mistake. And I will explain why. And I can't slow-mo it because we're not that fancy.
Right.
He sees him and he stops his feet.
Correct.
Yeah.
He stops his feet.
Yeah.
And turns sideways.
And turns sideways and doesn't even try to get low.
And exposes his leg.
And yes, and plants his leg. I mean, there's so much that's
Thank
wrong
you.
there. From an offense perspective, he stuttered because he stuttered.
The offensive guy fell down in that play.
Yeah. And then it just so happened when he hit his shoulder, he slid down. What usually happens is this guy's either going to run through, jump over, put your hands on, or he's going to, what kind of a wrestling technique?
You just basically down block, sprawl, get around him.
Yes.
Yeah.
When someone shoots for your legs, guess what? Yeah, I'm going to sprawl.
You try not to fall down.
You're not getting your knee hit like this. And so I've posted about it. I've talked about it. I've been livid about it because there's big names, huge names. Acho being one, being a defensive player.
Right.
RG3. There's been so many people. Rich Eisen has been calling them out for make sure he gets fined. He gets kicked out. This is very dirty. This is not a dirty play. And the NFL came out today and said, yeah, no fine because that's legal and clean.
Also, the guy, he has no momentum. We're talking about, plays that get fined in the NFL are guys going full speed, targeting head and shoulders, or targeting knees of quarterbacks, blindside, didn't see it coming, whatever. This guy literally, he might as well have tripped, fell down, and crawled to this dude's knee. The defensive player could not have played that any worse.
So really could not have.
So if I'm Thibodeau, just looking at this right now, you have time. If you have time to break down and he's square to him up front, and then he turns his body.
Correct.
If you have time to do that, look at where the ball carrier goes. This guy broke down so much that I could have hit a rip move
100%.
or a swim move straight to that ball carrier and probably had a tackle for loss.
Because here's the
Or
thing.
dove? I don't care.
Here's the thing.
That's not what you do.
From a defensive perspective, Thibodeau is in contain right here.
Correct.
So there's a guy coming in motion, and basically Thibodeau is in charge of not letting the guy who is coming in motion get the reverse. That guy, if that guy has a reverse, Thibodeau needs to keep him inside.
Correct.
What Thibodeau does, he does not. First of all, he doesn't do his job.
Correct.
Second of all, he does whatever he's doing. It reminds me of when you have a young kid who's just starting to play catcher in baseball, and they have all of the gear right here in front of them, right?
Yeah.
And what do they do when the ball bounces in the dirt? The ball hits them in the side, in the back of the head, and you're like, yo, Johnny.
Hey, you have protection.
This is your protection.
Right.
First of all, be aggressive, get on your knees, let the ball hit your padding.
Yeah.
He exposes the one part of your body that every NFL player wants to protect. Offense, defense, special teams, doesn't matter. Your knees are your number one asset. And watch what he does with his right leg. He says, here, sir. He literally gives it to him.
Literally is leading.
He literally gives it. It's the first thing that he gives to the offensive player.
Now, and what you said about contain, he better have contain, but right here, before the play starts, here, his eyes are here.
Which
He's
is the
already,
wrong
he's already
spot.
crashing and not getting depth.
There's a lot of reasons that you should.
Why would his eyes be there?
I have no clue.
Okay,
because
thank you.
you're scared.
Thank you.
Actually, that's the only reason you would care about that, because right now the ball's here. You don't know if he's faking this handoff to the running back or going to then just
Because you have
switch
one
hands.
of two jobs. It's either to tackle the running back or tackle the guy that would be on the end around. That's Thibodeau.
Yeah.
And he can't do either one of those
From that position.
from right here.
Well, for a couple of reasons. One, because his position. Two, his eyes are on the blocker.
Correct.
Ball has not been. Now, ball is there. First of all, I believe he could have just made the play if you were giving up and just going at him. But now, What look at this. They're both in a very good like athletic position right here.
Right,
except
but not
for the fact that
except for where the ball is.
except for we're not playing football anymore.
Right.
We're just athletics.
Are we doing a squat test?
And then I just don't. His hands didn't get
If
on
anything,
him.
Thibodeau should be fined
Yeah, absolutely.
for bad football.
For just not good defensive football.
I'm sorry.
For being scared. I don't know what it is. This
That
to
was
me
timid.
is timid.
Yeah.
If you play timid in any sport,
At one
specifically
point,
football,
this was the number 1 overall pick.
I just don't know what that was. Has it ever happened to him before?
I mean, that looks like when I'm in the wave pool and like I'm taking like a wave to the chest, and then all of a sudden, you know, like I'm not taking it to
Turning
the chest.
sideways, I'm
like,
cutting
turning
through it.
sideways and I like duck through it. Like, oh, please don't. Like I'm going under the wave now instead of like taking on the contact. Like
That's what that
What
was.
can I do to be soft as possible?
Now, I'm glad he didn't tear his ACL.
Yeah,
I
3 to
think it
4
was-
weeks is what the
sprained knee, basically.
Yeah.
Sprained MCL, I believe. But you're going to learn from that. Either you do or you don't. But that, everything blowing up, that is not a dirty play.
right. But that's the last thing that we would like. You can't have Thibodeau coming away going, I did what I was supposed to do, and that was just a dirty play. And if that's his mindset,
Then
because of
He's
everything that's gone on,
he's ruined as a player.
Right.
He's
Look
gonna
at
play
this.
timid forever.
This is the step right here, and you have it paused perfectly when we were
did
talking
not.
about when we were
I
talking
did that
about
on purpose.
when we were talking about contain.
This is
He's
why-
coming back upfield. He's already made his decision that this guy on that reverse isn't getting the ball.
That's why
if
I
that
think-
guy gets to reverse,
that's when he starts
That's-
looking down the line of
Now,
scrimmage at the
15
wall.
yards.
This is why I think there's got to be another force player just because of this. Or he just blew the assignment.
But even if there
believe
is,
he's still
again,
not
the
doing it
point
right.
is he's looking down the line of scrimmage at the blocker,
Yeah.
which
And this has not
is
been declared.
meaningless for anything that he's going to do that's
how many
remotely
steps?
possible.
How many steps away
on
from the
play.
quarterback is he if he just goes straight towards?
oh,
3.
no. Yeah, but he's got, I mean,
Like he can't.
he can't get there.
Right.
The only thing he could have done is shot hard, but you're just guessing at that point. Because the ball's not declared. Again, he can't see the ball. Well, he's not
But he
looking.
does nothing aggressive here.
He's not looking at the ball, but he can't. The ball is not. You can't see it. It's not.
No,
declared.
he's not looking at the ball. He's looking at this guy.
He's
coming.
now
I don't want to get
declared.
hit.
He would have been best off on this play to never come out of his stance.
He could. Yeah, or went after the quarterback or the reverse.
No, but I'm just saying, like, from what he did, like that guy didn't need blocked. Like he wasn't ever gonna tackle the running back if that guy wasn't there.
The 80 is it 81 in that like that tight end or whoever is that they could have just
Could have
stopped.
stood straight
just-
up and down.
What is it? What is it like? Field goal block in 5th and 6th grade tackle football, where you had to put your hands up like this and they can't touch you. Like
Yes.
that's what he could have done.
Correct.
And Thibodeau doesn't make that play.
And I think a lot of the, like, somewhat in defense of all of these guys saying it's a dirty play, dangerous. Like the part that I don't like is like I can agree with the dangerous, just because any time that I'm going to cut somebody, there's going
dangerous.
to be potential for danger.
100%.
The ridiculous and cowardly is where I have a problem with all of the tweets is that they're calling this guy a dirty player,
for doing his job.
and I wouldn't even say that he didn't even really deliver
Look at
that.
this.
That's not even a great cut block.
No, he had no momentum.
He just fell down.
Look at his angle right now. That he's not going after a knee on purpose. No, not at all.
You can't stop and then fall down.
Thibodeau might
and
get
be-
a pretty bad Charlie horse if he's still going towards him with momentum, everything. Like
It was
that.
just that's a timid play. Just timid. That's why you don't play timid.
And
play
like,
aggressive.
When you
make
go
the
that
play.
slow, that's how your foot gets stuck under your leg because you're not going fast enough for your feet to move out from under you.
So
Like,
I was always taught, and I wasn't playing at any level near what you guys were, but the slower you go, the more likely you are to get hurt. Like if you go balls to the wall, you might sting a little bit. You might be sore, but you're less likely to get hurt.
it's the
because
difference
you're just
between
playing hard.
hurt and injured.
Yeah.
You're a lot more likely to get injured when you play slow. Obviously, more likely to get hurt,
Correct.
but there's a big difference.
Prime
I can
example.
play hurt. I can't play injured.
Okay. We're done. We're done here.
Soft.
Now let's get to the thing that blew up. Oh no, I closed out.
You exited the wrong one.
Oh no, we'll get to it. Don't worry. I saved it in messages. You guys need to start doing this. Just share the tweet if you want to do it. We'll do it here.
This gives me flashbacks.
You guys.
Oh, you didn't play the one in Oakland, huh?
No. I feel like that was NSFW. I don't know how I don't know. But this one's hilarious. First of all, I've never seen it done. I don't think I've ever thought about doing it. None of that, right? And this guy is now viral. The world knows him. I'm pretty sure it's over 20 million views at this point.
This is Bartman-esque.
What he is doing is he put a straw through to make a glizzy straw, also known as a hot dog straw, with his beer. By the way, salt and beer goes well together.
Right.
Like this, like me as a foodie, it makes sense and it works. Would never have thought about this, but everyone is blowing up about this.
Yeah,
This might be the new turn dog, boys.
like,
This might be the new turn dog.
But at the ballpark,
At the ballpark.
It's like the girl.
Like,
do you guys remember the girl
the
dipping her
real
chicken
question
strip
is-
into her soda a couple years back and getting roasted all over the internet?
yeah, but this isn't even like this is next level.
Right.
This
That's exactly where my mind
Simply
went.
from form of hot dog because you're in public.
we
It's
go
just
from
impressive.
Twizzler. This is the 21-year-old version of the Twizzler straw.
First of all, does this guy drink beer with a straw if he doesn't have a hot dog?
I don't think so.
No.
I want to ask him. He's going to get interviewed, by the way. I mean, like, whoever. By the way, got some good kicks on, too. But
This
like,
guy needs to be making money off of this.
yeah, he better go patent whatever call it whatever. It's yours now because
Is this at Yankee Stadium?
Is it, I mean, it's just a dog straw, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what they call it.
yeah, dog straw.
Like
What-
don't
well,
try
now
to like
they're
don't try to
calling-
be
They're
smart
calling
with
hot
it.
dogs glizzy now, so maybe glizzy straw. I don't know.
What
Don't ask me. It's the new thing.
glizzy?
I don't even
Yeah,
understand
I don't
it.
know.
I'm too old
That's
for
what
it.
the kids are saying.
That's what the kids are calling hot dogs now. are
Glizzy.
So like my kid today for his first day of school had a hot dog, so he ate some
glizzy.
glizzy, or he ate.
a
Is that
glizzy.
with
A
the bun?
glizzy. A glizzy. Yeah, I think so.
No, you're the one that brought it up. I can ask the
because
questions.
that's what's been in social media. I have no clue.
Dude's eating a glizzy.
Just drinking a glizzy,
Drinking
drinking a
He's eating. He's
glizzy
sucking
beer.
on
Can
a
I
glizzy.
can I critique his
Probably
form?
not a good idea.
Can I
But that's
critique
what
his
he's
form a
doing.
little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like so he goes both ends.
Why wouldn't you just go all the way through?
Why wouldn't you just push that sucker
Because
all the way through like
you would blow the end of the hot dog out.
Oh, because it might not.
So like
You
when
might
you
not go
push
through with the
something
straw.
all the way
Yeah.
through, that end
Yeah.
does this instead of like when I'm poking through
Correct.
the front end,
Yeah.
creating the small hole.
Yeah.
So he doesn't want the one end of the hot dog to be blown out. So he's got to create the same hole. It's like
However, I probably would want the one end because it would be a bigger hole at the bottom.
just
of the
take a
cup,
little
maybe.
bite at the end. Then
well, that's fine. I mean,
that's your
But
argument.
but
It's
like the
clean.
same, it's the same idea as like when you're cutting a cigar.
Yeah.
Like you don't want the end that you're
Right.
smoking out of to be like as
Yeah.
big as
Just
the,
mangled.
the butt
Yeah.
end. Like
I
That's
just
great. It's great, guys.
so, like
I'm happy for
so
that
you guys
guy.
are good. You're good with that.
Yeah. I
Like-
don't have any problem with that. None. Zilch.
You don't think that the warmth of the hot dog as you're sucking the beer through makes the beer gross?
I haven't drank beer in like a long time. However, that being said, no,
If you want
because
a
I would
beer,
drink
you
it
want
Cool. I
fast.
feel
and
like
ice
you
cold.
cool.
I
I
would
feel like
drink it
you do it
fast
straight.
enough.
Do it straight out of the fridge. You do it straight out of the fridge. You get your Oscar Mayer or your
Yeah, but
whatever
I
it
want
is.
the bun. I want the relish. I want the
Oh,
mustard.
But agreed. But think of it. It's more like
It's a poor man's Bloody Mary. Is what it is.
Yeah. Yep. It's
The
exactly
beef,
what it is.
That's
the
a
beef
beer.
stick. No, but the
Put
beef
a,
stick
put a
straws.
hot dog in a Bloody Mary, and yes, 1,000.
So why don't you put a hot dog?
And
in
I
there?
will use beef
What
stick.
if you do a
can
bloody?
use beef
What if you do a
stick.
bloody beer?
Okay, that's the thing. The hot
Yes, hey, I don't mind.
the
that.
hot dog is still warm. That's my problem.
Is
the
it, though?
warmth of the hot dog.
Was it though?
Do you think it was a cold hot dog? It wasn't a raw hot dog.
No, but it
No.
might not have been.
No, but like
super
I
hot and
want.
fresh. I don't know.
First of all, I don't want to drink a beer with a straw.
No, I mean let's start there. Yes. However, that's what it is.
But I do want to eat
Poor
a hot
man's
dog. I
blood.
do want to eat a hot dog and drink an ice cold beer.
Yeah,
I just
because
want
of
them
those
to be
reasons.
mutually exclusive.
You getting the same effect.
No.
Hey,
Just because they're all going to the same place, don't
Hey,
don't
I'm
mean
just
the way
saying,
they get there
same
doesn't
effect.
matter.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what Mama Carrie used to say. You like hamburger, you like cheese, you like noodles, then you like hamburger helper. And I didn't like hamburger helper.
I mean, we do tell our kids that, and I am do you guys like your food to touch on a plate?
I can.
I don't
it's
care.
fine.
Right, and
Really don't-
there's a lot of people that are
Oh,
very
absolutely.
much
Yeah.
like this can't touch this, and I'm like, you know what, this, and this are probably really good together.
Yeah.
We're gonna do
We're
it.
gonna
You ever
do
had
it.
a famous bowl?
And so exactly,
Corn, gravy,
Yeah,
mashed
exactly.
potatoes,
It's
and
all-
chicken?
it's
Yeah,
all-
come on.
it's the best of all the worlds. So like, I have no problems with any of those things. My specific problem is not even the hot dog as a straw. It's the It's that the hot dog would warm up my beer. I think that's my issue.
I think you guys should try it next time.
Because if I'm paying $12 for a beer,
I mean,
you better bet your ass that it's going to be a cold beer that I'm going to be drinking.
I mean, you're probably not wrong there.
Like,
you're not wrong there. But I think I think it's
because guess what? He paid for the hot dog and he paid
okay,
for
so
the beer and he took the hot dog out of the bun.
That's a high quality dog, right?
Maybe.
That's a high quality dog, right?
It's not.
But like more often than not, when it's a decently quality dog, the skin isn't what's warm; it's the internal.
Yeah, where you're
portion.
sucking the beer from because he just cut a hole in the hot dog and
Yeah.
the beer is
It would
running
only- it would only
literally
be-
right up.
But it wouldn't warm,
it would-
wouldn't warm up the beer that much. Is what I'm saying.
It wouldn't last that long. It would get cold pretty quick. I don't know. Maybe you guys should try it.
Volume to
I'm just saying,
density
on air
ratio.
next week.
On air next week.
I'm not willing to try it. It's not going to be so disgusting you can't do it. It's just going to be like, what the hell are you doing?
I mean,
like that guy took the time to do it.
I'll go get some
And
roller
he paid
dogs.
for a hot dog to do
So
it.
he's clearly done this.
I'll go
before.
get some
paid
roller
for a
dogs
straw.
from either Get and Go or Hy-Vee. Like I'll go get
do
a
it.
couple roller dogs and
Yeah, we can do it next week.
yeah.
I'm 100%.
Why
We're
not?
in.
All right,
We're in.
book it.
Let's go.
It's time.